Number 6, I committed a crime. I robbed a bank. I sold some drugs. I don't know. I did some shit. Got arrested. Went to court. Judge banged that. Don't bam bam bam. Guilty. Spent 5 years in the joint. Paid my debt to society. But I come out. I'm a felon. No one is going to hire me. The only jobs I could get are low-paying jobs. I'm stuck there. Mr. Politician, what policies are you going to implement such that felons, ex-felons, have an opportunity after redeeming themselves to integrate back in society and get a job, a meaningful job that will pay them well and enable them to take care of their family, such that they have no temptation to commit crimes again, because a lot of people don't understand. I know felons, I know ex-felons. A lot of people don't understand. These people go back to what they did before, to that thing that got them in jail in the first place, because opportunities are denied them every which way they turn. Once you're a felon, you're fucked for life. That needs to change. So, Mr. Politician, what are you going to do to change that? Entrepreneurship. Now, one of the easiest ways to build wealth is by starting your own company. It's risky as hell. But if you succeed, in my life, I've owned 3 companies. I'm in the process of starting another one now, and I will do a video that will outline the steps that I'm taking to launch this business. Not to show off, but simply to communicate, to convey to other Black people out there who may want to start a business that it's hard work, but if you do it right, your probability for success is significantly enhanced. Entrepreneurship presents a powerful opportunity for Black people. Just for a second, take a journey with me. Let's go to a fairy tale world. And let's assume that Steph Curry, LeBron James, Russell Wilson, Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, Kobe, Shaq, Oprah, Denzel, Kanye, Jay-Z, Beyonce, all these Black mega millionaires. In this fantasy world, they come together and say, you know what? We're going to fund Black businesses. So they form this big VC fund. And each of them drops 5-10 million in there. $200 million pot. Bam. They go to Wall Street, get some bright, capable Black investment bankers. They go around to corporate America, find some Black executives, some retired Black executives, and bring them together. Say, okay, you guys are going to manage this fund. Then they put a notice out there to Black business owners or aspiring entrepreneurs. Bring us your business plan. What kind of business do you want to start? They get their experts, look through it. Yeah, this is viable. We could go with this. All right, Mr. XYZ, you want to start this business? We're gonna drop 100,000 into it. We're gonna drop 1 million. Oh, you have this business going, you have this much revenue, you wanna expand your market share this much, we're gonna give you 5 mil. What is that going to do? They fund 500 businesses. They fund 1,000 businesses in 2020. These businesses are founded and run by capable, intelligent, driven black men and women, and the businesses prosper. So now in 2025, we have these 1,000 businesses that were funded in 2020. In 2025, these businesses are each pulling out $100 million in revenues. Each of these black-owned, black-founded businesses employ 1,000 people. 1,000 businesses employing 1,000 people. Let's just say 70% of those people are black. So 700,000 people, 700,000 black people employed by black businesses. I played football, basketball, and soccer my freshman year in college at Indiana University. I transferred to Howard, which is a black college, HBCU, because I knew that if I'm at Howard and someone has a problem with me, it's because of something else. It's not because they're white and I'm black. So you have these black businesses funded by black people employing black people. Do you think there's going to be any racial discrimination in those businesses? Do you think that black owner, that black CEO, that black vice president is going to look at that black person down there and say, I'm not going to promote them because they're black? No. Asians do that. Indians do that. Arabs do that. Latinos do that. White people do that. But that's a fantasy. Hopefully one day we as a people will learn to not hate each other so much that we could come together and work to build something that's greater than each of our individual selves. Something that will benefit our children and their children. In lieu of that, what does an entrepreneur need? They need access to markets, and they need access to resources. And the biggest of those resources is funding. Banks are there to lend to business. But when I go to a bank as a black business owner, and they look at me and say, I'm not going to lend you money, it makes it hard for me to grow. A lot of white people that start businesses can borrow money from their uncle, their aunt, their nephew, their cousin, their brother, their sister. They could take a line of equity, a line of credit from the equity they have in their home. They could tap into that generational wealth that's been accumulated over time. And as a last resort, they'll go to the bank. Black people, black entrepreneurs, for the most part, don't have access to those additional resources. So they have to go to the bank. And they say, Mr. Bank, I've been in business for 5 years. My first year, I made 50,000 in revenues. My second year, I made 100,000. My third year, I made 180,000. My fourth year, I made 220. My fifth year, I made 400. After expenses, I have 150 in my bank. I want to expand. There's an opportunity. I'm a small manufacturer, light industrial. There's an opportunity for me to export to Mexico and Canada. But I need $300,000 to tap into that opportunity. I can make money. I've been making money. I could pay this back. Can you lend me that money? And the bank will look at them and say, no. So that stifles the potential for that black business. The VCs, they see the black business owner as too risky to sink funds into. So you go to the politician. You're a black entrepreneur. You go to the politician, you say, Mr. Politician, what policies are you going to put into place to compel these banks to not judge me by my skin color, but judge me by the performance of my business, such that they can make a lending decision? For these VCs to not judge me by my skin color, but my capabilities, the potential for my business, so they can make that investment. Mr. Politician, you have the Small Business Administration, a part of the government. What policies are you going to put in place? Loan guarantees, grants, access to resources, such that the SBA can actually work as a conduit to provide resources or access to those resources for a small business owner who's having problems getting those resources from normal traditional channels. Mr. Politician, what policies are you going to put in place such that I, a small business, black-owned business, can compete with the Microsofts, with the Amazons, with the Oracles, with the Googles in provision of services to the government? Or when you give a big contract to Amazon, what policies are you going to put in place such that I, the black business owner, can get a piece of that through subcontracting? You could go to the politician and say, what tax incentives can you provide for businesses to promote their engagement with minority-owned businesses? So if I'm a Chase, JPM Chase, and I contract work out to different companies, well, Mr. Politician, what if you gave Chase a tax incentive? So if they subcontract $1 million worth of work to me, that $1 million is reflected as a reduction in their tax liability. These are the things government can do. Implement policies. Government can't go to Chase, JPM Chase, or Bank of America, or Oracle, or Facebook and say, hey, you got to do business with minority-owned businesses. But government can tell them, hey, you subcontract $10 million in business to a minority-owned business, guess what? We're going to give you $1 million tax deduction. That will serve as incentive for these companies to engage minority businesses. So these are the policies from an entrepreneur perspective that you want to see from these politicians. Personal wealth accumulation. Once again, there are those amongst us, black people, who are lazy. You give them $1,000, you give them $5,000, what do they go do? Buy a brand new car, buy some fancy new clothes so they could stunt. Look at me and my clothes, look at me and my car. They're not gonna buy a house. Fuck them. I ain't concerned about them. I ain't concerned about the lazy black people. I ain't concerned about the black people that want the government to do shit for them, to give them handouts. I'm talking to the black people that want to do for self. You're a black person. You want to buy a home. Because of your history, your credit ain't that good. You made mistakes in the past, but you're making amends. You're making amends. Mr. Politician, someone like me, who may not have the best credit history, but I'm working to developing it. What can you do to motivate the banks to lend me money to buy a house? What can you do to enable me, as a person who wants to buy a house in 1 year, in 2 years, in 3 years, to start to put myself in a position such that when I do go buy that house, when I do go get that loan, it's so much easier for me to qualify? What can you do to give me access to resources that will enable me to accumulate wealth? It could be education, it could be seminars, anything to educate the black people on what the value of money is and how to accumulate wealth. These are policies that the government can put in place. And when you talk to politicians, these are the answers you want. Not vague statements, specific, definitive answers. Let's talk about protection. Protection means that the government protects you from threats, internal and external. The internal threats that black people face are the court system, the police, and discrimination.